Greetings all, FerrariMan601 here. Welcome back to F1 2018, and welcome to one-shot qualifying here at Hockenheim, a classic race for you with the Brawn BGP001. This is definitely my favorite car in the whole game. It was the one that I really wanted the most, and it was the one that I drove first. So yeah, I like this car. Of course, the Brawn story, you don't need anybody to tell it again. It's absolute magic. So well, let's see what we can do in this new addition to the Classics lineup here in the Codemasters F1 Series one-shot qualifying coming at you. What have we got? That's very wide through turn one. That's Roth in one of the F2004s, it looks. We might have blown a pole run on our first lap, on our first corner rather. Let's see. How late can we break into the hairpin? That was a big twitch there. Just hit a bump wrong. Come on. We can brake late, but not late enough. Of course, the V10 with another 200 horsepower over us. So far, we're lining up P6 for this lap. That's not at all where I want it to be. Of course, back in 2009, the Brawn never would have run at Hockenheim. The German Grand Prix was at the Nürburgring that year. And the European Grand Prix was held at Valencia, which this car happened to win in the hands of Rubens Barrichello. Some trivia for you. Barrichello would take one more win, and that would be his last win in Formula One. That was at Monza. This looks like we're good for P3. So the start of row number 2. And there it is. So P3, not bad, but not great. We'll try to avoid a first corner schmozzle.
The grid is set then, so that just leaves the race itself. Join us tomorrow, where we'll be live with all the action. And until then, it's goodbye.
You know, P2, Jay Letourneau. Yeah, I have a history with this artificial Canadian. He passed me under the safety car at Monza in F1 2017, and he cost me the race win because of that. So I'm not looking forward to going into turn 1 side by side with Jay Letourneau. However, hopefully we can pass him and seal the deal on that. But interesting to see the gaps here. Roth on pole in the F2004, Letourneau in second in the RB6, which of course won the championship in the year immediately following Brawn's triumph. But look at the gap here. 3/10, a little less. That's not too bad. The rest of the field, some familiar names, some new names here. Rashid Nair here in the Renault R26 behind. Howard Clark is now in the FW25 Williams. Fadmüller, Calabresi. Jones is a new one. He's in the MP423. Schiffer now in the 14B. Visser now in the 18, the FW18. Izumi now in the 413. Barnes in the 412T. Santiago Moreno in the 4.4. He used to be in the 413 McLaren. Jacques Tremblay, now he is a newcomer into the series here at the Classic Races. MP46 for him. Yassar Attia now in the MP41B. Belisov all the way down in the 312. Julian Quesada in the Lotus 79 there. Sophie Levasseur in the 312T. Kaufman now back there in the M23D. And Flavio Nieves, Mr. Snows, is down there in the Lotus 72D. So we do have a full field of Classics here. Let's see how we get on with this. Welcome to P3 on the grid here in the Brawn. Just getting set up for our race start. Let's take a look around the cockpit real quickly, if we shall. Nice detail all around. You can see the emergency kill switch detail there on the right-hand side of the bulkhead. No chassis plate in here that I can see, but it doesn't really matter. Nice steering wheel detail, of course. I really do like all of that. We can't switch camera views here on the pre-grid, but nicely appointed. Obviously, it had to be either Jensen Button or Ross Brawn who granted Codemasters the access to scan this car, because I believe the two cars in private hands, one is owned by Ross Brawn, the other is owned by Jensen Button, and the only other Brawn ever to be manufactured is at the Mercedes Museum in Stuttgart, I believe. So one of those three entities allowed Codemasters in. Probably it was Jensen Button, I would think, but who knows? Anyway, to the formation lap.
Okay, our system checks are good. We need to stay in formation and start bringing the car up to temperature, please. Get some load into the tyres and work the brakes. We want them nice and warm by the end of the lap.
So off we go on the formation lap. Let's size up our most favorite artificial Canadian in front of us. Bonjour, Jay. How are ya? I see you like your new ride, huh? Out qualifying me? Well, we'll see who wins the race, but yeah. Got my eye on you, Mr. Artificial Canadian Safety Car Overtaker at Monza guy. Anyway, back to business. Let's get this car up to temperature. Brakes are mostly there. Tires are a little bit off the boil. Now they're not. Really do like the sounds on a lot of these classic cars. They're not just circuit bent versions of the modern counterparts. They're properly done and rendered sounds, and they're all tailor-made for the most part to each car. The only difference there being the F2002, F2004 sounds have been ported over, as have been the MP44 and MP46. For the most part, though, the classics are sounding better, and I'll definitely take that. MP413 has the best sound improvement, as far as I'm concerned. Actually sounds like the MP413 now. Anyway, field is just about formed up at the back. Just waiting for the back row to stop in position. We await the lights. And away we go. That's a good launch. The Tonneau got a better launch. Jaffer Roth on the outside. We've overhauled him. Hello, Jay. Goodbye, Jay. Haha, there you go. All right, we got 17 laps around this place. And we have one of the V10 Williams coming up on us. He is going to have all of the horsepower, and we have all of the aero prowess. This should be an interesting matchup. Of course, Brawn, they made big waves at the start of 2009 with their double diffuser. Toyota and Williams also got the same idea. Everybody else, namely Ferrari and Red Bull, said, hey, that's illegal, you can't do that. The FIA said, well, boys, actually, that is legal. And then everybody else proceeded to copy it. Red Bull did that to greatest effect, and the fruits of their labors can really be seen on the RB6, which now the Tonneau has dropped out of the top 3. That's an awesome development. Right here, though, we're going to be very vulnerable to that Williams. I think he's also having a fight with the F2004 of Roth. Well, we've pulled out a gap. I'll take that. We'll see if we can go 3 for 3 with a safety car. I have not had a safety car in a classic race yet. Then again, I haven't done a classic race at 25% or greater distance yet. There's that helicopter flying around. Some birds as well. Another helicopter out in the distance. That's some pretty nice environmental detail. I like that a lot. I also like the trees. Have a look at them. Very nice. All right, our time at the line, 1:17.550.
That was the fastest lap of the race so far.
But man, I wish that we could trim this car out and just keep going straight on into the forest. R.I.P. Hockenheim. Anyway, what's the gap? 2.12 seconds back to Roth, 4.335 back to Clark. Apparently, Letourneau has been swallowed up by V10 awesomeness. Quite honestly, he deserves it. Purple again in Sector 2 by 0.2. Come on, Brawn. There we go. Uh-oh, Roth sets fastest lap, 17.264. Gap is now 1.8. V10 horsepower coming on song. Gotta figure the Mercedes engine. What was the spec on this engine? It was the FO108X, was it? Something like that? I know I got the FO108 part right, but I don't know about the final letter there. Got 800 horsepower out of this. There or thereabout. 980 or so out of the V10 in the F2004, so he's got about 200 horsepower on us. It's not necessarily a good thing for long straights. We should have him through the twisty stuff, though. Unfortunately, he is coming. We will have to contend with lap traffic sooner rather than later because some of those Class 3 cars really are off the pace relative to us. At 40 years of difference between the newest and the oldest car in this field, so that's a big deal. .7 seconds is the gap. He's still coming, but he's slowed down a little bit. Here's one of the Lotuses, 72D. Señor Nieves, buenos días, ¿cómo estás? Gracias. Lap 5 already approaching black markers. Blue flags are flying. Willem Kaufmann, guten Tag. Danke. I can hear that V10 behind us. He's closing in. Yeah, we lost a lot of time trying to overtake the Lotus, really. But he's got to negotiate these back markers, too. Belisov. No idea how to say hello in Russian. Okay, that was a little bit of crash drive in there by Levasseur. But she's going to hold up the F2004 now. Sprint while the sun shines. 12 seconds back to Clark. Look at that. 2.4 seconds now, the gap to Roth. That's good. Got to update my brain. I'm still thinking he's in the RB6, but no, he is, in fact, in the F2004. I guess that's cool that they shifted the classic drivers around. They really kind of had to, considering they added so many new classic cars. Let's see, who is this? Quesada, that's the Lotus 79. Ground effect. He's merrily sucking his way around Hockenheim, yes. And he really is sucking his way. That was awful, trying to let me by. Ah, there we go. Let's see here. I know our gap took a bit of a pounding there. 12 seconds back to Clark still. A lot of understeer in the final corner. Back on the brake bias a little bit. Let's see, who is this? Mathieu. All right, lap 7 of 17, 10 to go. Car feels great, performing great, sounds great, doing everything I want. Just an awesome day here. No change in the top 3 running order. Namely, no change at the front. That's definitely what I want. This must be what Jenson Button felt like at the start of 2009, just driving his own race miles ahead of everybody else. Probably wondering when his next paycheck was going to be, but enjoying it nonetheless. That is one memory of being a race fan that I will certainly never forget. I remember being up at 3 o'clock in the morning or whatever obscene hour it was to watch the Australian Grand Prix in 2009. These 2 white cars with no sponsorship at all show up. And I'm thinking, no way. These guys were fastest in winter testing. Surely they cheated. They must have. Pole position. What? Lead every lap of the race. What? 1-2 finish. What? That was unbelievable. I really don't know if we'll ever see anything quite like that again in Formula One. Still hearing that V10 wailing its head off behind us. Hopefully actually wailing its head off, as in the cylinder heads. I'd love to see that engine expire in my rearview mirror. It won't, but who knows. Actually, fighting with a Ferrari, that's something that Brawn really never did. Ferrari were so abysmal through most of 2009. Took a single victory, that was at Spa. Kimi Räikkönen. Fisichella really could have won that race, but he would be driving the Ferrari the very next weekend at Monza, so he thought better of it. But how about that? Force India scoring their first points, and it was a second place finish on top of it. Here we are now. 9 years later, Force India no longer exists. Terrible. All right, we got 2 back markers in front now. This is going to be fun. Kaufman again. P20 now. There's been some schmozzles back here, I'm sure. Tremblay now. The MP46. Moreno in the 4-4 in front of him. Aye. Be gentle, please. That was awful. Now Roth is really coming on to us. Again, superior aero through turn 1, that helped. To the low speed stuff and down the straight though, I'm at a disadvantage. Somehow I went purple in sector 1, how'd that happen? Guess that's what being terrified does. You pick up some speed. One of the 412s in front. Let's see who that is. Also have to say this Brawn is very good on fuel. That's Barnes in front. He's transferred out of the R26 from 2017. He lets us go with no problems. Thank you. Another one. If you're going to run multi-class classic fields, you just got to deal with lap traffic. It's a fact of life. Levasseur. There really is no good spot to catch a back marker, but that was a particularly bad one. Anyway, working lap 11 now. Big flock of birds just flying over. Hopefully none of them land on the track, because like Sebastian Vettel, I will brake for seagulls. Healthy gap now back to Roth. Blue flag, come on. Belisov in the Finari. All right. Thank you. Ah, come on, I thought he was going to take the F2004 out. That would have been epic, but no. But yeah, I think I was making a point about this. The Brawn, it's very fuel efficient. Have a look. We've been running in mix 3 the entire way. I've still got plus 2.21 of our fuel delta remaining. That's awesome. Probably not going to have to touch the mix at all. Another Lotus 79. It's Quesada once again. Continues to suck his way around. The tarmac probably saying, well, gee, weren't you going to take me to dinner first or something? But I don't know. There's a joke in there someplace.
Yellow flag.
Yellows. Guy off, well off the circuit. That's Kaufman, I think. McLaren on the side of the road dead. Where have we seen that before? More back markers coming up. I will say it's cool being at the front in one of these classic races because you get to go through the entire field, seems like multiple times. That's Visser in one of the FW18s, I do believe. See, straight line speed with the V10, I'm pretty much matched up with him. That's the FW18 and the MP413, and that's Roth.
Gap behind is 25.2 seconds.
We're going to sail one up the inside here. We're making contact. Let's pick up his slipstream. Come on, come on, come on. Back marker ahead. That's going to make it interesting. Can we overtake the Michael? Gonna try. And there's contact. We lost a little bit of our front wing. He's still there. We've got him.
Looking at the damage, and we think you should be okay to continue.
Satia.
Cost us a little bit of time, but we're nearly at the end of the race.
See, the back markers, they do add a bit of spice into this, don't they? I don't quite have the superior aero anymore, but I do have vastly inferior horsepower. One of the FW14s in front. And Schiffer, let us through without any drama, please. Purple in Sector 1. Car's faster with no front wing, okay. Come on, Schiffer. Pull out of the way. You're not pulling out of the way where I want you to pull out of the way. Case in point, you covered off the racing line, you idiot. But you're holding off the F2004. You're no longer an idiot. You are my best friend. Thank you.
We have 5 laps of fuel remaining.
Fabio Nieves, is it snowing yet in Spain? Right. And in case you're wondering why I keep talking about snow whenever I see him, la nieve means snow in Spanish. Nevar is the verb to snow. Interestingly enough, it only conjugates in the third person singular because it's impossible for a person to snow. Linguistics with F-Man. That could be a series.
Be careful, we think you're going to start losing some tyre grip around now.
Oh, do you? Well, maybe you're right. That's a healthy gap. Give me more of that, please. Levasseur for the third time trying to lap her in the same place. Hold up Roth, please hold up Roth. She's holding up Roth. Yes, this is working. But he sets fastest lap. And now he's stuck behind Levasseur. Perfect. Let's see, what is the delta? 3.9 seconds with 2 laps to go. That's what I want to see, folks. Come on, a little more, a little more, a little more. You can do it. Come on, Brawn. You know, that wing damage, not really noticing it. It's not bad. Noticing it a little bit through here, but barely. Apex speed not impacted that much. This car just generates most of its grip from the midline rearward. Diffuser definitely helps. Belasov. Hello, Belasov. Would you like to collude? Block Roth. Thank you.
Final lap of the race.
And just like that, it was the final lap. Look at that fuel delta, still plus 1.83. Haven't even had to think about it.
Fuel remaining.
Traction there suffering a little bit because the tires now have 49% wear, 45% wear across the rear axle there. No big deal. Just squeeze the throttle a little bit more gently. Quesada is continuing the sucking extravaganza. Yep.
4.2 seconds.
Come on, come on, come on. Power on. Good. And around the final corner. P1, P1. Grazie ragazzi. Forza Ferrari. Oh wait, no, this is a Brawn. Yeah. Awesome. As Jensen Button once said, you have built me a
Welcome
monster
then
of
to
a
the
car.
Podium, our top
Podium
three
time.
drivers. What a great effort from them today in a very difficult race.
Well, the safety car didn't come out. So that's interesting. It's the first 25% and above race I've had that hasn't had safety car intervention. Still didn't get the car back entirely in one piece, but close enough. Didn't really impact us too badly. Final results.
That's it for today's Grand Prix, and from Ant and I, it's goodbye, and see you again next time.
Well, the final timetable looks a bit like this. Up a couple of spots. Remember, we started third and we finished first. There's Roth in P2. In the F2004, we really held him off, but look at his best lap time. He's 0.4 faster than us on a single lap. So not bad there to finish in P1. Roth in P2, Clark in P3 in the FW25, and there he is, everybody's favorite artificial Canadian, Jay Letourneau in P4 in the RB6. Overtook him on lap 1. That was what the doctor ordered. Callisto Calabresi there in the F2002 for P5. Feldmüller there in P6, where he started. Rashid Nair in P7 in the R26, and Daniel Jones in P8 in the 423. Schiffer in the 14B for 9th, and Visser in P10. If we were awarding points, he'd get the last set of points there in the FW18. Nobody really moves from P8 to P12. Tremblay up a couple of spots there in the 4-6. Moreno down a couple of spots in the 4-4. Hatia doesn't move in the 4-1B. Quesada there on the Suckfest in the Lotus 79. P16 up a couple of spots. Belousov down a spot. Levasseur didn't move at all. In fact, I kept lapping her in the same place 3 times. That's pretty weird. Nieves down there in the very snowy Lotus 72D, and down at the back, DNF, Kaufman in the M23D, the only car not to finish. So, really, I liked that. That was fun. It's always fun to win, but particularly I'm liking these classic races a little bit better in F1 2018. The cars feel a little bit more polished. They don't just oversteer for the sake of oversteer. They actually handle in a much more believable manner, just as they do in the 2018 car. So again, the suspension model, the way that they've made all of those calculations, it's working. And it's fun. The AI gave me a good fight. The back markers were a pain to get around, but we managed to overtake the Michael there in the form of Lucas Roth, and we took the win. Very nice. That was fun. Hope you enjoyed that one. Ferrari Man 601 saying thank you very much for watching, and of course, we will see you soon.